How you doing?
Not bad, you?
Yeah, right, not bad.
I think you probably know why we're looking to stop you, don't you?
What, are you police or security?
Police.
Oh, yeah.
Not many security guards carry guns.
Welcome back. On this channel, we examine genuine police encounters, explore issues of public accountability, and look at the laws that govern interactions between members of the public and law enforcement. Today's footage was originally recorded by Polite Camera Action, and you'll find a link to the full video in the description. If you enjoy this type of content, make sure to check out the original upload and show the creator your support. What starts as nothing more than someone filming outside a warehouse soon takes an unexpected turn when armed police arrive and invoke their powers under Section 43 almost immediately. Despite offering very little detail about why they have intervened or what information prompted their response, the officers quickly focus their attention on the camera. Instead of becoming confrontational or simply accepting what he's told, the auditor stays composed, politely asks the officers to explain the legal grounds for their actions, and steadily questions the reasoning behind their decisions. As the discussion continues, the officers find it increasingly difficult to justify their position, and the armed deployment ultimately comes to an end with no further action taken. It's an encounter that prompts serious discussion about the way police powers are exercised and demonstrates how a calm, informed approach can influence the direction of an interaction.
How you doing?
Not bad, you?
Yeah, right, not bad.
I think you probably know why we're looking to stop you, don't you?
What, are you police or security?
Police.
Oh, yeah.
Not many security guards carry guns, do they?
Well, I didn't see it until then, yeah. Are you right?
Yeah, you?
Yeah, not bad.
Grand. You're perfectly at liberty to say no, because I expect you know the law quite well. Do you have any idea on you at all?
No, I don't, mate.
Would you like to account for your actions in the area?
Not really, no. Just taking photographs, that's it.
Okay. Under Section 43 of the Terrorism Act, then I am going to stop and search you, given the fact of the position that we find you in, the buildings you have been taking pictures of, and the fact you've admitted to taking photos of
Yeah,
those
but this
buildings.
is a public
You
road,
haven't
though.
offered me any reason why. It's Section 43 of the Terrorism Act.
As I just said, I'm taking photographs, mate.
Yeah. What buildings were you taking them off?
I'm not taking them or anything, really. I'm just taking whatever I feel like. I'm totally entitled to take photographs.
You are.
Yeah, so what are you saying
but
then?
also under Section 43 of the Terrorism Act, I'm entitled to...
Attention quickly shifts to a central issue. Can the simple act of taking photographs justify the use of Section 43 powers? From the moment they arrive, the officers steer the encounter toward terrorism legislation, even though photography alone does not automatically provide the basis for exercising those powers. Section 43 is designed for situations involving genuine suspicion of terrorist activity, not the routine recording of a location from a place open to the public. Polite Camera Action remains composed throughout, explaining that he is on a public road, doing nothing unlawful, openly using his camera from an unrestricted area, and making no effort to hide what he is doing. A call from a concerned member of the public, on its own, does not create the legal threshold required, and possessing a camera does not by itself turn lawful photography into hostile reconnaissance. As those facts become increasingly difficult to dispute, the reasoning behind the officer's reliance on the power begins to unravel.
Stop and search and stop and speak to anybody that I believe may be undertaking reconnaissance, hostile reconnaissance, or anything related to terrorism. And
so
also hang on, sorry,
okay,
because
go on.
I haven't been impolite and interrupted you.
No, but I just don't like the idea of being searched for no reason when all I'm doing is walking around with a camera.
I'm giving you a reason.
Yeah, but I've given you a reason why I'm in the area.
The fact you're not willing to listen to it, that is somewhat arbitrary.
Yeah, but I've just told you why I'm in the area.
Okay.
I'm a photographer.
But if that's the case,
I've got a YouTube channel. I take YouTube videos.
If that's the case, then you're perfectly at liberty to give me a name and details, aren't you?
No, why should I?
Okay.
It's a free country.
I know it is.
We're not living in China, are we? Where you've got no rights to do anything. This is the UK, isn't it? Where you've got rights to do what you want. So,
which is also.
And I'm entitled to walk around with my camera and take videos for YouTube and stuff like that.
The reports of people are telling me.
Yeah.
There he is.
Yeah. It's just good.
TE06
yeah,
QP.
QP.
He's got his on as well.
Thank you very much.
So, like I said, Section 43 of the Terrorism Act gives me the power to stop and search you and obtain any details from you that you're willing to give to me.
Well, I'm not really...
Okay, if that's the case then, I am also at liberty to look at the memory cards, SD cards and anything on those cameras.
Don't be silly, no you're not.
No, I am.
No, you're not.
I am.
A court of law is the only person who's allowed to look at that.
Tell you what then, you put your camera down, get your phone out and Google it.
The conversation soon moves beyond the reason for the stop and turns toward what the officer claims he can do with the auditor's recording equipment. After making no progress in obtaining personal details, attention shifts to the camera, with the officer asserting that he has the authority to inspect the footage, memory cards, and any other data stored on the device. Polite camera action calmly pushes back, arguing that being detained does not automatically grant officers unrestricted access to digital content. He explains that there is a clear difference between lawfully taking possession of a device where legislation allows and immediately searching through everything it contains during the encounter. In his view, if a device is legally retained, any relevant material can be examined later through the proper legal process. But that is not the same as officers freely reviewing recordings whenever they decide. As the discussion develops, the focus shifts away from the camera itself and toward the boundaries of police authority when handling digital evidence.
It says I'm allowed to look at them to see what you've been doing. Because if it is a case of what you have been looking at is hostile reconnaissance in relation to terrorism.
Hostile reconnaissance to what?
Because you've been taking pictures of a building that is of a sensitive nature.
Well, that logistics building. I was taking a picture. First of all, I started taking pictures of the art piece on the corner there, and then I saw the two security guards, and I thought the two stood out there on the front, looking a bit mean, like they're protecting gold or something. And I was like, well, this is an interesting sight. So I'm doing absolutely no wrong, am I, with walking around with a camera?
You're doing wrong?
Well, so why are you searching me then?
At what point have I said you're doing wrong, though?
So why would you search me?
Right, at what point have I said you're doing wrong?
You haven't, but why would you search me if I'm not doing anything wrong?
I've just told you under the Terrorism Act, Section 43.
Yeah, but then that means you suspect me of being a terrorist.
It's a suspicion, exactly.
What, you think I'm a terrorist?
It's not an accusation, is it?
You suspect I'm a terrorist for walking around with a camera? I just talked to the security guards, didn't I?
Okay, but I'm now stopping and talking to you.
The encounter reaches a pivotal moment when the officer openly acknowledges that polite camera action has not committed any offense. That admission immediately leads to the obvious question: if no wrongdoing has been identified, what legal basis remains for carrying out a search? From that point, the officer's justification comes under increasing scrutiny. Attempting to explain the decision by suggesting that people are often dishonest with the police does little to address the central issue. General skepticism alone is not the same as specific grounds for exercising a legal power. Polite camera action remains composed, allowing the contradiction to speak for itself rather than becoming confrontational. The discussion highlights a fundamental point raised during the encounter. Once an officer accepts that no offense has been established and cannot point to a clear factual basis, it becomes far more difficult to justify continuing an intrusive search.
I'm not akin to that conversation, am I? I haven't been there for that conversation.
Well, I'm telling you. Why don't you go and speak to them first, so they can stopping me?
Here we go. Let's chuck a controversial one in here. You're telling me you've spoken to them. When's the last time you think somebody lied to me as a police officer?
Probably all the time. I'm not a liar,
well, there we go. But I don't know that, do I?
I've told you what I'm doing. I'm totally entitled to walk around with a camera and film stuff. You know I am, so I don't know what you're going on about. You don't think I'm a terrorist. You know I'm not a terrorist.
I didn't say I didn't think you're a terrorist.
Well, why are you stopping me on the terrorism?
I said my suspicion is. The suspicion is not a statement of fact.
So then you've got to have you've got to have a proper reason for stopping me, other than you just seeing me walking around. Of what? Because I'm walking around with a camera. Well, you better make sure you got this right, mate, because there's going to be a lot of trouble otherwise.
Okay, so why do we now have to resort to threats?
No, I'm not threatening you, am I? I'm just saying I'm not physical trouble. I'm just.
The conversation then moves away from the scope of police powers and onto the issue of accountability. When polite camera action points out that any misuse of authority can be challenged through the appropriate complaints process, he presents it as a reminder that officers are answerable for the decisions they make. Rather than responding directly to that point, the officer interprets the comment as a personal threat, shifting the discussion away from explaining his actions and placing the focus on the person raising the concern instead. Attention then returns to the repeated claim that the warehouse is a secure location. While the site itself may have restricted access, polite camera action continues to explain that he is standing on a public road, making no attempt to enter the premises or interfere with anything taking place inside. As the exchange continues, the distinction between lawfully observing from a public place and physically accessing private property becomes increasingly important, placing further scrutiny on the original justification for the stop.
It's just nonsense, really. It's a bit over the top for a guy with a camera. I'm totally entitled to walk around this country with a camera. You all know I am, and it's just you're trying to intimidate me by using Terrorism Act and stuff like
We're
that.
not trying to intimidate.
No, it's a normal police tactic. Throw big words around and scare people with big words. I'm sorry, I'm just messing my phone.
Yeah.
I'm not getting in.
We have to attend every incident. This has come on to us as a 999 call over a secure site. We have a duty to investigate that and to make sure that.
Well, for a logistics firm, they got an art installation on the corner there. I stopped to look at that to start with. I stopped to look at the other one on the other side first of all. My camera's on movie mode at the moment. I haven't taken many photos today. It's mostly movie mode because I was taking video of the Royal Mail site up the road there.
Okay.
So I speed footage up and put it on my YouTube channel. That's what I do.
Okay.
But ridiculous, really.
The encounter reaches another key moment when polite camera action raises a simple point that the officers find difficult to answer. He explains that if someone were genuinely carrying out hostile reconnaissance, they would be far more likely to act discreetly than to stand in plain sight on a public road, openly operating a camera and a drone in full view of everyone around them. At no stage does he attempt to conceal his activities. Instead, he openly records, answers questions about what he is doing, and makes no effort to hide his presence. Even so, the officers continue to treat that openness as something suspicious, despite it appearing to contradict the very nature of covert behavior. The arrival of an additional officer does little to reinforce the original justification. The discussion shifts back to the warehouse, with references to security fencing, barbed wire, and protective measures around the site being used as reasons why filming should stop. Polite camera action responds that those features exist to secure the private property itself and do not automatically restrict what can be seen or recorded from a location where the public is lawfully entitled to stand. The exchange then reaches a revealing point when one of the officers acknowledges that the conversation is no longer really about the law. From there, the focus drifts away from legal authority and becomes a disagreement over personal views on the filming, leaving an obvious question as to whether the original decision to intervene was ever supported by a sufficiently clear legal foundation.
Anyway, but that's just from what I've seen, unless my colleagues has got any other point of view on it. And we're not doing anything else, are we? I don't think. So I think that's kind of the end of it, really. Fair enough. Is that? I'm happy with that. Yeah. Is that fair and reasonable? Yeah. Yeah. That's right. That's it. Then, isn't it? It's job done, then, isn't it? I'm sure you got better things to do than what. That's right. It's like job's a job, isn't it? We go from one thing to another. Like, whatever. I suppose. Look, but it's been a pleasure. Yeah. Have a nice day, guys. Thank you very much. Cheers.
As the encounter comes to its conclusion, there is no dramatic arrest and no heated final exchange. Instead, the officer's original position steadily weakens. Throughout the interaction, polite camera action repeatedly makes it clear that he is not seeking confrontation, believes he is acting lawfully, and nothing seen during the recording appears to contradict that view. The calmer and more consistent his responses remain, the harder it becomes for the initial justification behind the stop to be sustained. Reflecting on the entire exchange, one point stands out above all else. A significant amount of time is devoted to concerns that never progress into any clearly identifiable offense. No specific criminal conduct is established. No definite legal boundary is shown to have been crossed, and no final lawful direction is ultimately relied upon. Much of the conversation centers on general references to security, sensitivity, and perceived concerns, yet none of those issues develop into a power that is ultimately exercised. In the end, the encounter concludes without enforcement. After repeated references to terrorism legislation and security-related concerns, there is no search, no seizure of equipment, and no allegation that any offense has been committed. The officers simply leave the scene, bringing the interaction to a quiet close and leaving viewers to decide whether the intervention was ever supported by a sufficiently clear legal basis.